Hi, I'm Matt from Tubby Tarot, and this is Book Chat. Today I'm going to be looking at The Woman in Black. It's a book by Susan Hill, and it is an amazing, amazing story. So, The Woman in Black. Now, before we even start on this, I want to just tell you, if you have seen the film with Daniel Radcliffe, fantastic. It is a marvelous movie. It's creepy, it's awesome, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to scare the cuck out of you. However, it is only loosely based on the book. So if you have seen the film, you think, oh, I know the story, it's fine. Don't do that. Watch the movie as a movie and read the book on its own as a book, because the book is very different to the movie, okay? It is a story that is set in Victorian times, in the mid to late 1800s, and it is about a man who gets called to a great big old Gothic house called Ell Marsh House, which is the name itself, just sends shivers down my spine. And he's there to go through the papers of a lady who owned the house, and she has recently died. Very old woman, she died, and she's left all her papers, and he's from the law firm, and he's come to this Ell Marsh House, and he's going to go through all her papers. And it's basically what happens is he goes to Ell Marsh House, and all these weird things start happening to him. The interesting thing is Ell Marsh House is in the middle of the marshes, and when the tide rises, the sea tide rises, the house is completely cut off. Okay, because the road to the house is covered by the sea. So once you're on the island, once you're on Ell Marsh Island, you're screwed if the tide comes up. You have to stay there until the tide goes down. And this is what happens to this dude, okay? And weird shit starts happening to him. He starts seeing this woman in black, and she pops up here, there, and everywhere, not only at the house on the island, but also at a funeral, at this old lady's funeral. And he starts hearing things. He hears horses in the mist, in the fog, and he hears a child screaming in terror in the fog. And it's just all these weird things start happening to this dude. And it really starts affecting him. And the other thing that he finds really odd is that the villagers who live a couple of miles away, they are so secretive, and that nobody wants to talk about what's going on. They have got this almost a fear of Ell Marsh House. And when they hear that he's seeing this female figure dressed in black, and he's like, oh, I saw this chick, she was dressed in black, and she's like, they're completely freaked out, and they just shut their doors, shut their mouths, shut their windows, hide behind the blinds. They don't really want to discuss any of this. And as the story goes along, you get to realize, first of all, who the woman in black is. And I must be honest, if I had not seen the film, I would not have pieced together who the woman in black is right until the end of the book. So, because you think that the woman in black is this particular character, but the woman in black is not actually who you think she is. Okay, so there's a little bit of a tiny spoiler. No, that's not a spoiler, that's a teaser. Okay, so the woman in black isn't really who you think she is. But yes, it is a ghost story. Okay, it's not one of those sort of sensation novels from the 1800s that it turns out that it's actually the butler in disguise with a woman's wig on, and he's the one that committed a murder or whatever. This is a true ghost story, okay? And it is a beautifully, beautifully written story. The English is quite easy to understand, and there is a reason for that. Because although this incredible book is all about Gothic castles and deep fog and ghosts, and it is set in the 1800s, Susan Hill wrote this in 1983. It's a modern book. Honest to God, I did not know this. I didn't know it when I saw the film, and I honestly did not know that when I ordered this book on Amazon. I honestly thought this was a book that was written in Victorian times, because I'm hugely into Victorian literature. So when this arrived and I opened it, and I was like, because I always check when was the first publication, and I was like, 1983, it's impossible. So what did I do? Of course, I went onto Google, and yes, Susan Hill is a modern author. She's written a lot of books. This is her most famous book, okay? And it was written in 1983. She's still around. She's still writing books. She tends to favor this kind of stuff. And yeah, for a book that was written like just the other day, this is a masterpiece of Victorian Gothic. All right. It's a wonderful, easy book to read. I've got the Vintage Classics edition. Okay, and I would recommend you get this because it's just, the print is really big. You can see there, it's got really nice big print, nice spacing. You don't have to sit there and kind of run your finger underneath each line to try and see, which a lot of books that were written in the 1800s, because they're so dense, they actually have tiny little typeface and tiny little writing. It's really hard to concentrate. This, of course, is beautifully spaced out. You can read it. In fact, if you push yourself, you could probably read this in an afternoon. It is basically, I'll tell you exactly how many pages. It's 207, say 206 and a half pages. Okay, so it's it's big type, so it's a very easy book to read. It's a book that once you start reading, you will not want to put it down because it really is a story that grabs your interest and will pull you in. And you really will be fascinated by what this man goes through while he's on this island, while he's in this old house. And of course, and I don't want to say too much because the ending of the book is slightly different to the ending of the movie. In fact, it's quite different to the ending of the movie. But the ending of the book, well, it just staggered me. I was actually quite mortified and quite horrified at the ending of the book. It's got a really, really hectic twist, and read the book and you'll see. It's very unlike most of the sensation novels of the 1800s because they normally ended with happily ever after. This book ends in a very different way, and it's quite shocking. So I'm going to leave that with you as a parting gift. Get this, get the movie, keep them both on your shelf together because they're two very different entities and yet both are very, very good. Okay, just a word of warning, there is a Woman in Black movie part 2. It's crap, don't get it, ignore it. This is The Woman in Black by Susan Hill, Vintage Classics edition. I am Matt from Tubby Tarot, and I will see you to chat about more books in a little while.